How about if we start and finish section 5 today? Hi everyone, Cristin here, and we are continuing with our work on a red, white, and bloom quilt. So yesterday we finished section 4. So look at, oh my goodness, we have so much done. This is amazing. It's such a beautiful quilt. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 all together now. And so we're going to start on section 5, but because we have so many blocks already done ahead of time, tons of extra blocks, that means that we can actually start and finish section 5 today for our red, white, and bloom quilt. So let's talk about what we're going to need. So one thing real quick is if you didn't pre-work like I have been, where I've been doing the additional blocks, my chair is sinking. If you didn't pre-do those, then you'll need to go back and do them now, but they are on the previous tutorial. So we will need the red pop bottle block, and the firefly jar, and the white firework block. So we will need those when we start assembly and put it all together. So let's talk about what we're going to work on for today. So we're going to do two things. We're going to do the fire up grill, which is on page 18, fire up grill on page 18, and there's not very much to this, so it's going to be a pretty simple one. It's a little bit big, but very doable. And then we will also work on the section 5 fillers, and we'll go over those after we go over our fire up the grill block. So fire up the grill is on page 18 of our book. I'm just going to turn to that real quick so I can give you all the sizing. If you made your packets, pull your packet out. It's a really simple one, not much to it at all. All right, so we are going to start with our main fabric, and our main fabric is the white with yellow words all over it. All right, and make sure to back this with Fusible stabilizer so that nothing shows through, since it is a light colored fabric. It's white with yellow words on it. And we're going to start with this at 8.5 by 8.5 for our main fabric for the fire up the grill block, 8.5 by 8.5. All right, and then we just have one applique piece, and it's for that grill. It's the red houndstooth, and we're going to start with this at 4 by 4. I did back mine with Fusible stabilizer. That's optional, but it does give it an extra layer, but and it makes it easier to cut. I've gone over all of the benefits, in my opinion, of why I use it on my applique pieces as well. So 4 by 4 for your grill applique piece. And then we have our batting. So our batting is going to be 7 by 7. Batting is 7 by 7, so that means our final cut size will be 6.5 by 6.5. So we are going to quilt this one, and we are going to use Celebration 1. I believe that's the banners. Celebration 1 in a 6 by 6 and in vertical. So notice that there is horizontal and vertical of the Celebration 1 quilting design. So you want the 6 by 6 in vertical. All right, and if there's 5 by 7 users doing this block, you would want to use a 4 by 6 and a 2 by 6 quilting design, and that will work just fine. So very easy block, no special cut instructions, no special information. So that one will be super simple today. I'm just going to put this back in my packet here so that it's ready when I'm ready to work on the block, and then we'll talk about the filler blocks. So the filler blocks are on page 32 of our book, all of the filler blocks, and we will be able to finish section 5 today using these filler blocks. And there's 3 border blocks, filler blocks, border blocks, same difference. So there's 3 of them. So like I mentioned in the prep video, I always cut my border blocks a 1/2 inch larger than what is recommended in the book. And either way will work. If you do it the size in the book, then there won't be any extra room. It will fit right into that placement stitch for the main fabric. But if you cut it a 1/2 inch larger, then it's going to tack it down, and it makes it so that it's really easy to trim. And also, if you are not stabilizing these well enough, they could shrink in a little bit, and this gives you a little bit of wiggle room just to make sure that everything's the right size. So I always cut my filler blocks a 1/2 inch larger, but that's personal choice. And if you didn't see that prep video and you cut beforehand, because this is an older quilt, you may have prepped it long before. So that's fine. It will still work. Absolutely not a problem. Personally, I would definitely recommend stabilizing it so that it doesn't get pulled in and so that everything fits the way that it should. But your choice, your quilt, your way. All right, so there are three filler blocks. So, and I didn't write down the quilting, so hold on, let me get that. All right, sorry about that. So I have the quilting designs for our border blocks. So this first one is the blue star fabric. Isn't that pretty? It's so vibrant. I love this. So this one we are going to start with, let's see, we're using, I didn't write that down either. The quilting design is 2x6, so that means that we want the block to be 3x7. 3x7, so that means in the book it will say 2.5 by 6.5, and that will work fine, but my recommendation is 3x7 for this fabric. And same thing with the batting, 3x7, whether you cut your block a little bit bigger or not. Even if you did the smaller size that's listed in the book, you still want your batting 3x7. So it's easy to just have them be the same. So 3x7 for your border block and your batting. And this one, we are going to quilt this with wavy 1 in horizontal. Wavy 1 in horizontal, and that's going to be in a 2x6 quilting design. 2x6 wavy 1 in horizontal for this first one. All right, and then the next one is this red cherries fabric, on the red cherries fabric. So I want to point out, I didn't have enough to cut mine fully bigger. So again, I recommend 3x7, but I didn't have quite enough in the fabric kit that I bought. So on this one, or actually that we got from our sponsor, there wasn't quite enough fabric. So just a little bit bigger will help it to tack down. And if it doesn't tack down, the world isn't going to end. You can use tape if you need to hold it in place. Really, when you just lay it on this batting, it kind of holds it in place anyway. So mine is a little bit smaller than 3x7, but I recommend 3x7 if your fabric allows. All right, so whatever will work. And even if you didn't, you want your batting to be 3x7. 3x7 for your batting and for your fabric, or 2.5 by 6.5 will work. All right, and then this one, we are going to quilt this with chain link 1 in a 2x6. Chain link 1 in 2x6. All right. And then our last border block is this light blue with the words on it. And this one, let's see, I have it as, it's a 4x2 quilting design, so 3x5 is what I would recommend for the fabric size. 3x5 for your border block, or 2.5 by 4.5 will work. Absolutely. All right, and we are going to, and same thing with the batting, sorry, 3x5 for your batting. Whether you cut it small or not, whether this is the 2.5 by 4.5 or if it's the 3x5, you still want your batting to be 3x5. All right. And this one we are going to quilt with geometric 1. Oh, I love that one. I love that. Makes me think of like Nordic snowy, which is kind of funny for this one, but that's what I always think of. So geometric 1 for this border block, and that's all we have today. Super easy day. So I am going to bring you over to the computer to see what we can fit into one hooping if we can. They're kind of large, but I think it will work. I'm absolutely certain it will work, actually. So we should have no problem at all. So I'm going to bring you over to the computer and let's check that out. By the way, so I'm going to get questions. The thread boxes, they're made by Floriani. You can find them online. You can find them at your local quilt shop most often. My local quilt shop, Jones Sew and Back, keeps them in stock. I will add a link underneath this video for them if you're not able to find them elsewhere at your local shop. But they're made by Floriani. They hold 30 spools, 15 per drawer. They've got the little sticks in the middle to hold all the thread in place. And yes, they hold like every kind of thread that I have, all of them. I have Glide and Floriani and Thread Art and Isocord, I think is what it's called. I have several different kinds and it fits all of them great. So I always get questions about my thread boxes, so I'm going to make sure and mention that now. So let's go over to the computer and see what we can fit into one hooping and finish up section 5 today of our red, white, and bloom quilt. Okay, so let's see what we can fit into one hooping depending on your hoop size. So I'm going to open up Embellishment Essentials. That is the embroidery software that I use. and it opens to my 9x14 hoop. I'm almost certain that we can make them fit in here. We might even be able to make it smaller. So let's try. I haven't already tested this. So we're going to start with the first one, which was that page 18, Fire Up the Grill. And yeah, I think we should start with that. I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So I am going to, might be easier to do the filler blocks first, now that I think about it. Let's see. So if you're not on the hoop size that you want, you're going to hit this preferences folder, click on the hoop that you want, and then click on this compass button and then H for hoop, and it'll zoom into the hoop. And now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking I will add in the filler blocks first and then move them around. So let's see. Let's bring in the wavy one horizontal. That is our first filler block. That's that blue one, the blue star one. So I'm going to go here to merge stitch file, and I am going to close up Oh So Delightful. That's what I was working on last night, and open up Red, White, and Bloom, the quilting, and wavy one is what we're looking for right there. Wavy one, embroidery files, Pez is what I use for my machine, and then a 2x6 in wavy one horizontal. So 2x6 wavy one vertical, 2x6 wavy one horizontal right there. Double click on that and it will go to the center. I'm going to go ahead and change these up as we go. I'm not sure that we'll fit 3. We probably will, but let's see. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and move this over as far as I can get it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and change these colors so that we can do a color sort. If you click on 1, and then click on the color, I'm going to choose the first color that comes up for me, and my preference is Filtech Glide, so these are the colors that come up first for me. So I'm on dark aqua and say okay, and you can choose any color. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It's just easier if it's the first one that comes up. So that was 1. Oops, sorry, cancel. All right, now I'm on 1, 2, click on the color, and the first color that comes up for me is Blaze. And the reason we're changing them obviously is the default 1 blue and default 2 orange. If those would join together if we didn't do a color sort. So we change the color so that it will do a color sort to the way that we want it to do. So I'm on 1, 3. I'm going to click on the color. We already used dark aqua, so I'm going to the second color down, which is marine. Then 1, 4, click on the color, and we already used Blaze, so I'm going to use Oriole. And then 1, 5, click on the color. Now keep in mind that we want these to be different, most likely. I mean, you could use a generic color like gray or white on all of them, but they're different colors. There's a dark blue, light blue, and red, so I'm going to just keep them all different. So I'm going to use Sprout for this first one. All right, so that first one is all done. Now I'm going to go to merge stitch file, and I'm going to close out that wavy one, and the second one is chain link 1. So I'm going to close this and chain link 1 right there. It's just asking where is this file that you want me to open. I have mine on my desktop in the Red, White, and Bloom folder. I had to re-download them because of my hard drive fail. So I put them all in my Red, White, and Bloom folder for now. So I'm using Pez for my machine, and we're looking for a 2x6 chain link 1. Right there, 2x6 chain link 1. Double click on that, it goes to the center, and I'm going to go ahead and just move it up. You could use the arrow keys on your keyboard to keep it in the center, whatever works for you. I think I can bring it up just a bit more. Okay. Now, same thing. Notice I clicked outside in the workspace so that they're not all selected. And I'm going to click on 2, 1 and click on the color. And we want the same colors we used before so that those parts will join except for the actual quilting design, which is on the 5th step. So dark aqua is the first one. You can always see them right up here. And then 2, 2, click on the color. And we want Blaze because that's what we used before. And then 2, 3, click on the color, and marine is what we use. You can see it right there. 2, 4, click on the color, and Oriole is what we used. Now this one is the one I want different so that I have a stop. It will stop the machine and ask you to change your thread. So that's why we changed the color here so that it will create that stop. So we did Sprout already. I'm going to use sea green. All right, and that one is done. Now I'm going to go to merge stitch file to bring in the last of the, let's close this, of the border block quilting designs. That is a 4x2 of Geometric 1. Geometric 1, embroidery files, Pez, and 2x4. Isn't that pretty? I love this one. This is definitely one of my favorite quilting designs. So I'm going to bring this up here to the right hand corner. And same thing, I want to change all of these just the same way we did before. So I'm going to click outside of the workspace so that nothing is selected, and then click on 3-1, click on the color, and the first one is dark aqua. 3-2, click on the color, blaze. 3-3, click on the color, and we'll go to marine. 3-4, click on the color, and we go down to Oriole. And then this one is the one that we want to make sure to have a different color so that it will stop. I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to use the third color down because I know I used the first two. So now I'm on mint. All right, and those are done. Perfect, easy to do. Now we're going to bring in that fire up the grill. So we're going to start with the quilting design like usual. So I'm going to go to file, or I'm sorry, what was it? Merge stitch file. That's what it's called. And what is our quilting for this? Celebration 1 in 6x6 vertical. All right, so I'm going to close up Geometric 1, and I need to download it. I don't have it. Hold on a second here. Oh, it is. I'm sorry, my mistake. Celebration 1 right there. I didn't see that. Embroidery files, Pez is what I use for my machine. And then a 6x6. There it is. There's vertical and horizontal. We're going to use the vertical. 6x6, Celebration 1 in vertical. All right, I'm going to click on it, and I'm just going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard to bring it down. You can do that, or you can use your mouse, whatever works. Either way is fine. So notice there isn't a ton of space. If you wanted to use your 10x16 hoop, you could do that. These don't have a lot of space, a 1/4 inch extra of fabric on each side, but this one will have a full inch over. So there will likely be a little bit of overlap, but I think it'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and keep with my 9x14 hoop, just because actually the most people in our group have a 9x14 hoop. We did a poll a long while ago asking what is your largest hoop size, and 9x14 was the one that most people had. So I'm going to just stay with my 9x14 just to keep it simple. So we want to go ahead and make those same changes that we did before on our quilting so that those will join when we do a color sort. So click outside of the box, then click on 4-1 and just run through those same colors we used before. So 1 is dark aqua, 4-2, click on the color, blaze. 4-3, click on the color, and it's marine. 4-4, click on the color, and it's Oriole. And then on this, we want a different color. This one is going to be that yellow fabric. You could use a white or a yellow background, whatever you choose, or even a gray, or whatever you want to stand out or not stand out. So I'm going to click on the color, and I'm going to use the 4th color down just so that I have something different so that it will create that stop. So I'm going to use Magic Mint as my 4th one down. Say okay. All right, so all of the quilting designs are done. Now we need to make sure to bring in that fire up the grill design. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to close up the quilting, and oops, I closed the whole, oh, there it is. Red, White, and Bloom, Embroidery Files, Pez, and Red, White, and Bloom Quilt. And I'm going to click on the folder, and it will populate, and we're looking for a 5x7 fire up the grill right there. Double click on that. It goes to the center. Now what I want to do is I want to bring it down here. You don't actually even have to move it because we'll do that align and distribute. You could leave it in the center. It's not going to matter at all. So I'm going to close up this folder. Not a folder. Close up this design. Notice that there's more of those blues and oranges, but we took them away in the, we actually could do, you know what I'm going to do? We could do a color sort before we bring these in because there's a couple of these default blacks, which that's all there is. It looks like sterling, black, black, sterling sand. There's 3 blacks. So those will join together. So an easier way, I'm going to show you a different thing. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. and pretend that we didn't bring that in yet. And I'm gonna just do a color sort while we have the quilting, because we don't need to color sort the Fire Up the Grill. If we did a color sort after bringing in the Fire Up the Grill design, we would have to change those blacks. I think those were the only colors that would need changing, but otherwise those will join together. So that's why I'm thinking we'll just do a color sort now for the quilting part, so that we are just having the one time taking it off the machine to cut that batting. We don't have to do each of these steps. So let's go ahead and do a color sort now. So don't forget, it's very important now to make sure that your designs are where you want them to be, because you will not be able to make that change later. So it looks like this could come down just ever so slightly to utilize all of the hoop. You just want to make sure you're not over the line at all. This might be a little close. I'm going to do that one more time. All right. So just make sure that you're not over the line. You can tell from the black squares. If you can't see the black squares on your design, then you know you're probably too close. And it might get away with it here, and then you bring it to your machine and it'll say, I can't do it, but it should highlight red here if it's outside of the hoop. That is what I have seen happen before. So we've got our 4 designs. I'm going to go ahead and close these. It doesn't matter, I don't think. Go to Utility, Color Sort. Oh, so you know, one thing though is it will bring it all into one design. So centering that Fire Up the Grill with this last one, I didn't think about that. Hold on. I know what. I'm going to say cancel. See what that does. So I'm going to do something a little bit different, because if we do our color sort now and then we try to bring in that Fire Up the Grill, we won't be able to align it because it will align with all of the designs. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and open up a new page. But first I'm going to bring in that fourth, sorry, I'm going back and forth on that, bringing in that Fire Up the Grill, but I am going to do it. So I'm going to bring in Fire Up the Grill. And I'll show you what I'm going to do here. So bring that in, double click on it, it goes to the center. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and align it right now with this one. So to do that, I'm going to click on 4, 4 and 5. Hit your control button to be able to select both. And then we can do that Utility Align. And I'm going to say Center, Center, Apply. And you can see now it lined it right up exactly within that quilting design, but notice it also moved it, so we want to move it back. So I'm going to say close, and I'm going to use my arrow keys while they're both selected. Oh, it also moved it over away from the middle. That's funny. I didn't know it would do that. I'm just going to move that over. Okay. Good. All right, so notice I just brought it back to position so that I have space. That's the only reason why. So these are done, but remember, if I do a color sort, those blocks are going to be weird. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to say File, New Page, and I'm going to go back to this untitled one. I'm going to highlight these, Control C. I could actually just do the 4th one, I bet. But I'm going to just do all of them. Control C to copy, and then I'm going to my Untitled 2 tab, and I'm saying Control V like victory to paste. That didn't work. Let me try it again. There we go. Control V. My keyboard seems to be acting weird, which is odd since it's new. All right, so then I have 2 tabs, and they're exactly the same at this point. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this Fire Up the Grill part, click outside, make sure to click outside so that nothing is selected, click on Fire Up the Grill only, which is step 5 or design 5, and click delete. All right, so now we can do our color sort, and I'm going to go to Utility, Color Sort. All right, and it's reduced it by 12. So we started out with 20 steps, and it's reduced it by 12. So that means we have 8 steps. And look at this, looks a little funny. Don't worry about it. It does that just on this window. Say New View so that you can make sure to check it. All right, so now we're on Untitled 3, and everything's in one design. We don't have that Fire Up the Grill. So there's the placement of the batting, the tack down of the batting, the placement of the main fabric, tack down of the main fabric, and then our first quilting design, second one, third one, and fourth one. So that all worked out perfectly. Yay. That one is great. Now we need to bring in that fire up the grill. So if we go to Untitled 2, this is what I'm going to do. Excuse me, sorry. So if I click outside on the right hand side and drag over to the left, I have the first 4 quilting designs selected, and I'm going to go ahead and hit delete. All right, so what it does is it keeps that fire up the grill exactly where it's supposed to be. And then I can say Control C to copy it, and it should bring it over to our quilting. That's all in the one design. Notice we'll go to Untitled 3 and say Control V like victory to paste it. I don't know why my Control V is not working. Maybe you have to click in the workspace. I'm not sure. When I clicked in the workspace, then it worked. All right, so then see, it brought it right to the center, perfectly centered in this block. So that was a really easy way to do it so that we have our color sort of our quilting, but not having to change the colors on this fire up the grill. So there's a couple ways to do this, obviously. That worked very simply, in my opinion. And now we have all of the quilting in one design, and then we have the fire up the grill, and that's all done and perfect. So I'm going to say File, Save Stitch File As, and I'm in Oh So Happy, so I have to go to my Red, White, and Bloom, which is down here. I have it on my desktop for easy finding. Embroidery Files, Pez, Red, White, and Bloom Quilt, and I'm going to name this Fire Grill Fillers 5. Fillers 5. Fire Grill Fillers 5. That's what I'm naming mine. Whatever works for you to remember how to find it. All right, and I'm using my 9x14 hoop. I thought maybe we could do a little bit smaller hoop, but it really doesn't fit that way. So if you don't have a 9x14 hoop, you could do this in 2 hoopings very easily. This is a very easy day. So let's go ahead and get started stitching on our section 5. We're going to start and finish section 5 today. And how are you doing with your goal? I really would like to hear about it. Oh my gosh, Jody is killing it. She is new to iFit and Nordic Track, and she's already got over 50 workouts. It's so impressive. So I did not work out last night. I worked until 3 o'clock in the morning on our tutorials, trying to catch up from being on vacation in California to see my grandkids. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to include pictures of two hikes that I did on my daughter's Nordic Track treadmill. While everyone was watching television and eating snacks, I was on the treadmill. So I was pretty proud of myself for that. And I didn't feel like running that day, so I chose 2 hikes. And one of them was up part of, what is that? That huge hill that's like 26,000 feet and people have died. What is it called? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank on it. But anyway, it was up that, and it was up this memorial hill where there's all these plaques and things of people that have died up on this hill. So absolutely incredible hike, and the whole hike was up 15% climb, the whole thing. Oh my gosh, it was very, very tiring, but it was so interesting to see this hike. I really enjoyed it. Lots of snow, and obviously it's not the main part of the hike that you need oxygen and all of that, but the iFit trainer included photos of when she did go up it, and with the oxygen tanks, and some people do oxygen, some don't. But anyway, it was super interesting hike, and I enjoyed it so much and sweat a ton and got a great workout. And so then right after that, I decided to do another one, and I didn't realize that this one would be as hard, but it was the same thing. It was a 15% climb, and it was up a volcano. Darn, I'm forgetting where. I did this a couple days ago, and I've been so busy with working on these quilts since then, but I will add the information. But anyway, it was an incredible hike, and this specific iFit trainer, Hannah Edens, oh boy, she is scary. Like, if you join any of the iFit groups, they talk about, oh, I'm not doing one of Hannah's workouts. She is intense. She's super, super, super strong. It was absolutely incredible. And she did it at a very easy pace. It was totally doable. I actually even turned the speed up over what she was working. So it was very doable, and just really hard because 15% climb, but really interesting. I mean, the incline, you should see it. You'll see in the photos, it's up this volcano that was all brown, and it was super interesting to see the incline of it. You could see it in the photos that I took. Really great climb, really great workout. To do both of these back to back, I was pretty happy about it. And the day after we left for the long drive to California, knowing that I wasn't going to get a workout, so that's why I added in an extra one just in case. But then we got back, and I've been working so much that I haven't worked out, so I need to make sure to do that tonight. So inspire me, tell me about your goals and what you're doing for your goals. And my shirt today is "A kind word is like a spring day." So I love this one. This actually I made when we did our spring showers quilt together. I made this shirt, and I believe it was Designs by Juju. I will add information under this video of a direct link, because it was part of like a 6-pack or something, and so I'll add which one that came from. I think it was spring something or other, but it's a really cute design. I got it on a Costco shirt, Costco sweater I bought last year. So fun design. I really like this one. It's great, and Designs by Juju. I will add information under this video.